Everybody, this is John Spalding with G1NBC Cuyahoga County. We are backstage at the Indie Gathering, doing some interviews, and we're very lucky today to have Saba. He has been, I would say, a stalemate of the Indie Gathering for a while now, very talented, and pleasure to have him. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Sure. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm French. I moved to the United States in 1996 as a professional dancer.
Okay.
And when I retired as a dancer, I went back to my original job, which was acting. And I was an actor on stage a lot in Europe, and so I transitioned from stage to film. And back in 2010, after doing a lot of indie movies and all that, I thought, I think it's about time for me to write, produce something for my friends and myself. So I created Cloudy Sky Films, which is a film production company in New York, LA, and Paris, the three locations. And basically the idea is to produce young filmmakers' work. So obviously I produce a lot of my screenplays and all that, and I try to put myself in. But when I read a screenplay that I like, I try to see if there is a role that could fit me. And if I do find that, I approach the writers and I say, look, I will produce your movie if you give me that role. And so I have co-produced a bunch of movies like that, and it's really to offer the platform to young filmmakers. It is a challenge to make a movie, and you cannot make a movie alone. So this is why Cloudy Sky Films was created originally.
Cool. And I think doing something like that, going to that requires collaboration.
Oh yeah.
On your part, what made you kind of decide that that's the way that you wanted to go, in terms of when you were making the decision to go back into producing and directing, to say, I want to help co-produce, but I also want to be involved in those projects?
Well, this is the thing. Before that, I had a company that I still have called Saba Dance Theater, which is a dance theater company, and I was doing off-Broadway shows every year. I had a whole new show every year. It involved about 18 to 25 cast members on stage, a bunch of people behind the stage, and a lot of board members and people, officials. And producing these shows was very costly, as you can imagine. An off-Broadway show is not cheap. And the result, I always thought, okay, here we are, working for 6 months making a show, and we can only show it to the people showing up. So yeah, I mean, it's decent, but once you've done it, that's it. I have nothing to show.
Right.
So when I transitioned to Cloudy Sky Films, I thought I have to use that talent that I have to produce and gather people and make films, because films can last a long time.
Yeah.
And so that's what really motivated me to do it. But what happened is the first short film I've made, called About a Week, which is available on Amazon among other of my projects, got its first award here at the Indie Gathering. And when I came here, immediately I met people that really inspired me. And I saw that, the more people you could have to collaborate with, and the better you would have as a result, in your work. So I started to spread that message around, and I gathered a bunch of people. I found an editor, DP, and then actors and co-producers, and a lot of people that worked with me with Saba Dance Theater on the, whatever was behind the scene, moved on to work with me in Cloudy Sky Films. And because I also have a company in France called Saba Films, which is only French projects.
Okay.
Some of them also crisscross and work in America, and So the important thing about collaboration is that everybody can bring something that you would not think about. You would not be able to bring. So for me, it is trivial to do that. I really want to figure out, like, what can that person bring, and then pitch it to the other producers, and then say, what do you think, and then see if we can incorporate all that collaboration. I think it's the secret to success, to have more people.
Yeah. What I was going to ask was, who are some of your where do you draw your inspiration, or who have been some of your inspirations? But what I'm thinking I might ask is, who are some people that you have brought into a project that you kind of took a chance on and were glad or were proud of what came out of it?
So far, honestly, I've been happy with everybody that joined me in my work. But I will say a little story. 2 years ago, there was this girl that came to the Indie Gathering, Amy Geist, and I approached her. I was like, "So what are you doing?" Because I saw her in my lectures, and she would be taking notes and all that. And I said, "So do you have a film here?" She said, "No, I just came to see the festival." And out of the conversations we had and all that, I thought, wow, this girl has very good work ethics. I could feel it. And I said, well, what do you do? She said, I'm an actress, but I'm actually a very good AD. So when I did Sam the Vamp, which was one of the movie playing this year at Indie Gathering, I contacted her and said, hey, if I fly you to New York, would you be my AD? And she was shocked because I had never seen anything from her. But I don't know. I kind of like felt she had such a great work ethic that I could trust her. She came to New York and she was the best AD I've ever worked with in my entire career.
Wow, that's cool.
So that's kind of like a little thing that...
And you met her here?
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah,
That's
it was
cool.
very random,
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, cool.
But I would say I draw inspiration from different people. As a writer, I always loved Stephen King's writing. As a filmmaker, I always loved Hitchcock. Hitchcock from a young age fascinated me. Maybe because of the subject matters, but mainly because of the way he shot. And I mean, a lot of his movies really changed my way of thinking. I don't think my style is Hitchcockian at all, but to see that someone like that, so passionate about his craft, managed to do movies like that back then with what they had.
Yeah.
I feel today we don't have like really any excuses. We have so much equipment, from smaller cameras, digital, the possibility to shoot long take,
Yep.
So that's really my inspiration.
Cool. Gotcha. Thank you. So last, as we're finishing up, what are some current projects that you're working on, or what are some things that you want people to know about?
Right. So you can find a lot of my things on Amazon already. If you have Prime, it's free, so go for it. And I just finished filming a movie that I produced from one of the writers that I met here years ago. His name is Bob Messenger, and I liked his script Over the Line that won many awards across the festivals. So I co-produced it and shot it. I'm editing it, and then starting, I want to say December, I'm going to be in pre-production for my new feature film called Alive that should be shot in the end of winter or early spring 2018. And I have this ongoing series on YouTube called A French Guy Named Saba. You can get it through my clubskyfilms.com website. It's a series where actually each episode it's a song that I sing and I make a music video out of it. And I do everything alone. It's all on green screen.
Okay.
And so this is like something.
Is it serious? Is it?
So there's both.
Okay.
Some episodes, especially the first few episodes, the first tier, because I've been doing this for 4 years.
Right.
The first tier were parodies, where I actually dressed up as women, men. I tried to recreate the original music video. And then as time went by, I got lazy, and I just wanted to sing the song and do a music video.
Right.
And use that to learn how to edit with Premiere.
Okay.
I really wanted to know how to do color correction. So that's really why I kept doing it. And so now I think I have 73 episodes. I have one episode every 18 days that comes out. That's my thing. And so I recently started a Patreon page. So you can go to patreon.com/French Saba. And you can see how you can get IMDb credits as associate executive producer for as little as $8 a month. and it helps people to have, you know, these credits because it shows that are involved in the film business.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it gets you to actually know what I'm doing at the moment.
That's right. And IMDb is kind of the gold standard for where people go to look at your projects and your lists. And so the fact that you're doing that's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like $8 a month, it's totally affordable, you know. I mean, it's like if you were taking me out for lunch, it's probably cheaper.
If you were to go after a more, what do you have any awards for higher level patrons?
Oh yeah.
What's your?
I think the highest.
What's your most creative?
It's producer. You can be a producer, and I don't remember the amount. I don't remember things like that. But the cool thing is, like, the more you're going to get involved with me on my Patreon, the more I can actually work with you on things. Because, for example, like, there's one of the patrons that contacted me and say, hey, you know I'm not giving you a lot of money, but would you do that song that was as one of your episodes? I'm like, yeah, you know.
Yep.
So I feel like this is also a great way to keep people involved in what I'm doing all year long.
Yeah, and that also goes back to the collaboration piece that you talked about before. You're co-creating, you're sharing each other's work, and you're working together on projects,
right,
and doing it like that. So great way to engage your core members and your core fan base. I like Patreon too, so that's cool.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, like, especially for the feature film that I'm going to do, naturally I have money on my own, but I want people to feel like they could be involved in it. And I know it's, you know, when you do an Indiegogo campaign and you say, hey, if you give me $150, you're going to be associate executive director, it's a little more challenging to get that out. But if you say commit now for, you know, a whole year to give me $8 a month, that's a lot easier. And people get, you know, a credit on a feature film. I think that's a pretty decent deal, you know.
Yeah.
I myself support a lot of people on Patreon and everywhere, you know, on these platforms.
Oh, good. I'll send you my link.
Yeah, with pleasure. Send it. Yeah.
I have to finish my intro video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
so
can still
cool.
launch it without the video.
Oh, I know.
I launched mine without a video, and I had already patrons before I uploaded the video. So.
Yes, but you're French and have long hair.
Yeah, I've heard stories all weekend about my hair. I don't know. It's just growing, guys. You know?
Yeah, right. I'm sure you hear it all the time. So cool. Well, Saba, thank you so much. So,
thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate the interview. This is Saba, Backstage at the Indie Gathering.